Okay, guys, as you're seeing by the thumbnail, viewer discretion is going to be advised here because this isn't going to be like a normal video. It's going to go into mental health, my mental health, autism, self harm, suicidal thoughts, and everything like that. So, if this isn't the sort of video you want to watch, I completely understand, and you can't just click out. But if you do want to stay around, you have that warning. So, yeah. As you all know, I have been away for a good while now. I just haven't been in the best place mentally, and a lot of that was caused by everything coming down on top of me at once. We have had a lot going on in the family the past couple of weeks. To name just a few, my cat had to get put to sleep, my uncle died and then was buried, the fridge stopped working, my grandmother's conservatory door got completely stuck, so we had to get a contractor out to sort that out. So, yeah, everything has just come down on top of me at once, and then on top of COVID, I couldn't cope. I wasn't sleeping, I was snapping at people I love, I was just wanting to stay in my room. I didn't even want to go down the street to meet a friend, even staying in the front room. So I just wanted to lock myself away. And the majority of that was down to my mental health, but some of it was by autism. I have ASD, and part of the way that affects me is I am very auditory triggered, and I'm very sensitive to change and too many things at once. So, just obviously everything that has been going on, not just in the world, but within my private life, all just acclimatised on top of each other. And I'm that type of person that when something bothers me, I don't talk about it. I just bottle it and bottle it and bottle it. And I will continue to do that until one day I just explode. And the way I was feeling, that explode was about that far away from happening. And I knew, because in my head, I was making plans. I had a plan on how to take my own life. I was self-harming anyway. I have a history of self-harm, but one of my, as I call them, autism tics, is to do this, but I do it a lot harder, and I'd also do it on there. I was scratching here and on my arm here until I bled, so that is one of the signs that something isn't right and something is triggering me, and I didn't know what this trigger was, because most of the time I know my triggers, but with this one I didn't. I just knew that something wasn't right, and I didn't like the thoughts that were going on in my head. Now, before anybody worries, I'm safe, don't worry. I am under doctor's care. I was put on, I won't say the name of the medication because I'm not a doctor, but I was put on medication to help, and that has thankfully helped me relax. And I do have to phone the doctor in a couple of days just to let them know how I feel and stuff like that. So yeah, but let's rewind a bit here. Since the start of COVID, my mental health has been going like that, and obviously with all the changes with lockdown regulations, with being in and out of lockdown, allowed to do this, allowed to do that, not allowed to do this, not allowed to do that, it just completely garbled my brain, and I couldn't think clearly, but I was managing because For one thing, I stopped watching the news, because when I was watching the news, I knew in myself that I would get more stressed, and stress plus autism plus mental health is not a good combo. Pardon me. And so I stopped doing that, and I focused on me. I know that sounds incredibly selfish, but I focused on me and how I could make myself feel safer, for one thing. And that's where these come in. My teddies are like a crutch for me, especially when I'm feeling really low, because if I'm really bad, I would just, and I don't, how am I trying to say this? If I can feel things coming, which, like a meltdown, for example, I would come in here, cuddle one of my teddies, and just rock, and that would help me with meditation in the background, and that would help me calm down. It takes a while, but it does eventually calm me down. But with everything on top that I have mentioned with my family, and much more besides, it all just, because like I said, I'm like a volcano. I take things and I take things, and then one day, bang, and it will all just come out. But if I had gone bang this time, I either would have been in hospital, or I would be no longer here, because that's how dark of a place I was in my head. Now, a couple of you who watch this channel know how dark a place I was in, and thank you, all of you, for one thing, for being there and just letting me have that time. But there's two people, and especially, who were there, and they know who they are. So thank you to both of you, but again, thank you to everybody for just giving me that time. I am still, I'm not 100% yet. As you know, mental health never goes away. It can be treated, but it can't be cured. I have been on antidepressants since I was about 18 now, so it's a lot to try and deal with anyway. And as you know, autism is, we're just wired differently. We see things in different ways, we understand things in different ways, and we just don't process things the same way. Well, one of the problems with me is I don't process things well anyway, and so when loads and loads of things are on top of me at once, my mind, I just go into error code. It's just like my brain is constantly buffering, and it was that just started me going from like that to like that with my mental health. And I was down lower than I ever have been for a very, very long time. And like I said, I did have plans in my head. I did think that I don't want to do this anymore. I can't do this anymore. This world has gone to hell, and I don't want to be in it. And sometimes I still do think like that. But please, nobody worry. I may have suicidal thoughts, but I'm not going to act on them. If I ever do feel like I am going to act on them, I will ring the crisis line, or I'll just ring 999, which is the emergency services in the UK for everybody else who isn't in the UK. But yeah, I did ring my doctors when I got so low, and I just explained that, apologies again if you heard the seagull, I explained that I was struggling, and if I didn't get help now, 2 seconds,